God is a very generous creator, and when he chose to make us and all of our kids, he chose to give us 8 different ways to be smart. And it's valuable to know that, and it's valuable to figure out if your child has a leaning and a strength in one particular area or another, so that you can maybe help them study with that smart, memorize scripture with that smart, find a way to volunteer, even a career for the older kids according to the way that they've been designed by God to be smart. How do you figure it out? What gets them into trouble is a great way. I was a chatty Cathy as a kid, and those of us who are word smart, we can gossip, tease, name call. We always want to have the last word, and now we get paid to talk, all right? If you're educated and trained to be humble and to have Christ-like character, then you can have these strengths and they don't get you into trouble. But in reality, a lot of the smarts show up in that. Maybe you have a kid who is very self-smart and needs a lot of quiet, reflective thinking and isolates when excited rather than sharing with you. And you've been frustrated, which I honor that frustration in you. You might have a logic smart kid and you know it because she put the flour in the bowl before you told her to, because she just had to know what would happen. But pay attention to what gets them into trouble. What do they do in their spare time? Do they pet the dog? Do they read a book? Do they paint a picture? Do they walk in the yard? Do they call a friend? What do they do in their spare time? What do they spend their money on? If grandma gives them $20 as a gift, what do they want to do with that? Do they buy books, or do they buy paints and paper? Do they buy more music? What do they excel in at school? Certainly. Are they a mathematician? Are they a scientist? Do they love history because they see it come alive in their eye? That's a picture smart kid. So when they do talk, what do they talk about? All of us are word smart. What do we talk about? A kid who's talking about science is more of a logic smart kid. Do they ask about plants, animals, rocks, minerals, and dirt? Nature smart. Do they ask about people? People smart. Do they talk about and ask about their body and movement and touch? Body smart. So what do they talk about? What do they ask about? What do they do in their spare time? What do they spend their money on? What gets them into trouble? Where do they excel? Those are the kinds of things that I think work well. And here's maybe the most important idea, and that is to ask them. A lot of children who hear me speak about the smarts have said, Dr. Cathy, nobody's ever asked me how I think I'm smart. Now, the first time you ask them that, they might not know because they've never used the word smart for anything except academic performance. So you might need to ask it differently. What do you enjoy doing? What do you think you do really well? And you might be very surprised by their answers, and you need to believe that in that moment of their time, that was their perceived strength. And we can go with that and celebrate that and build that up, and it's going to be profound. It also says to them that you care, and that changes everything.